other one that comes to my mind, very, very major film, of course, is again for me a very personal memory, because my first role in Marathi plays, which you guided me for, was in Zunzara, and I used all your costumes from Mughal-e-Azam.
Oh, that was a fantastic production. Really, what you call in Mughal style. Absolutely. I always told Mr. Asif, Asif Saab, aap Mughal Badshah hai. Sachi, everything was from top to bottom, the correct thing. Yeah. Embroidery bordered on skirts. One skirt weighed 40 pounds. Really, I tell you. I said, Asif, how can I wear this? Don't worry, kya hai, kar lijiye na. And he had a sort of plain skirt made for rehearsals. And that was quite easy. So I said, it's not too bad. And I did my rehearsals and etc. Lights accordingly arranged. Then when it came to the final take, now jaiye, you wear it and come. So I went, wore that thing and came back. That 40-pound load, I could hardly walk. And when I came before the camera, Mr. Mathur was on the camera. I started going hayward everywhere. Mr. Mathur said, what are you doing? Where are you going? Where is the light? Where are you? I discovered that by the weight of the skirt, I was being pushed around. Absolutely without exaggeration.
How long did it take in production?
Oh, 8 years. Anjali was born, my granddaughter, and I told Asif one day, I said, Asif, if you go on at this rate, my granddaughter will be the heroine. It was fantastic, this whole process. The clothes, the jewelry, but he was absolutely drowned in it, that subject. He went to Hyderabad, he saw the Hyderabad museum, the clothes, how people dressed, pictures, all sorts of things. He brought swords from Hyderabad. And he said, you have to carry this sword. So this is how I got through Mughal-e-Azam, and it is there to date.
How come it took so long? 8 years, you said?
Yes, Vijaya. The picture was shot 3 times over. The first heroine was poor Nargis. And there was Chandra Mohan. Both of them had passed away. And there was a boy called Sapru, who did Salim's role, which Dilip Saab did. That was there. Then we started all over again. We had done quite a bit of it. We had done shooting in Minerva, we had done shooting in Imperial Studio, we had done shooting in Bombay Talkies, and tons of negative was exposed. After that, we closed down completely, at least the picture closed down completely, for quite a long time. And somehow, Asif Saab woke up one day and said, we are going to shoot. So we started. We started with Prithvi and myself first. Safe side, because we were both there. The hero was yet to be decided. It was under discussions. One party put up his man, the other party put up his man, and so on and so forth. And we went on, and we finished about 2 sequences between Prithvi and myself in my palace. Then it was decided that Mr. Dilip Kumar would do it. So he came in. Then his costumes and this and that and the third, that took another year. And we went on doing sometimes this, wo close-up hai, wo close-up, this, that and the third. It went on like this. Eventually, it was finished. And believe me, one man financed the whole proposition.
Yes. How much did it cost then?
Don't tell me, I'm very bad at mathematics. But it was fantastic.
Yeah, must have been.
And the old man used to go crazy, but he would do it all over again. Asif would say, I want this, otherwise I will not shoot.
It was basically in Urdu, ne? Wasn't the language used
Well, there
Urdu?
was various language dialects in it. One was, I was supposed to be Jodhabai. I spoke Hindi, pure and with a touch of Marwari in it. Prithvi was speaking Urdu and the royal line dialogues. And various people were speaking various types of languages. That too Asif had looked into. It was a colossal affair. Colossal, you can't imagine.
And you had Hindi, English he didn't do?
No, English. Hindi was done later. English was done later in bits and pieces. It really never got finished. But Hindi and Tamil.
Tamil?
Yes, Tamil. We did Hindi and Tamil. And I said, I can't work unless I know my dialogues. So I started learning Tamil dialogues, the way I had done Bengali dialogues. It went on and on and on. And I asked Sab said, we'll dub the whole thing. What are you worried about? I said, I cannot work with this dubbing. Especially a role like that, it is impossible.
Yeah.
So you better get another Tamil. He said, no, you do it. So I did it. And eventually it was finished as quite late. And I think it was about 8 years complete. And that one man, with the patience of God, I don't know where he got it from. He kept on pouring and pouring and pouring money, and everybody was saying that he's just wasting his money. But believe me, that picture has paid 10 times over.
Yeah. It must have made you feel really at the top of the world, to be a part of an extravaganza which we even remember till this date.
Yes, Vijaya, but one doesn't stay there very long. I got another shock from nature. My second son, very dear boy, Harin, passed away with a heart attack. And that really floored me completely. I just felt I didn't want anything else in the world. And one day I said to somebody, look, I feel I want to run away. And that person said to me, by where will you run away? You can't run away from yourself. And there were the two kids, Harin's two babies. I just got mum. I couldn't utter one word. I kept quiet and I went on and tried to carry on both Durga Khote productions, which had come into existence by that time, and any other smaller B-grade pictures, or say not such elaborate pictures that used to be. And I kept on doing that until I went to Madras. I did a few pictures in Madras also, some with AVM, some with Gemini. And one picture that I did in Madras, not in Madras, but in Bombay, that was Mr. Prasad's picture, Prasad Productions' picture, Bidai.
Achha.
That came quite late in the 70s. That was another wonderful role that I got.
Did you get an award for that?
Yes, I got the Filmfare Award.
There were no awards earlier? I mean, with all your Raja, Harishchandra and Ayodhya?
No, at that time awards were not known. I got a lot of awards from various associations, from various literary people, letters, congratulating me, saying that it was wonderful. But there were no established government, what you call awards.
No, but you got the Rashtrapati Padak.
I got the Rashtrapati Padak now.
Achha. And Padma Shri also.
Padma Shri also. Padma Shri at that time, just after Harin died, I got Padma Shri. And I just didn't have the nerve to accept it.
After your Bidai, which, despite your setback in life at this late stage, which I can quite understand must have been horrendous, you, I feel, then went on to do work where it was not very taxing.
Yes, I went into smaller productions. There the roles were good, small, but something that didn't tax me very much. Because I thought as somebody said, it looks as though the light has gone out of her life. That is how I felt. It just floored me. And then I decided that I should get away from everything, because I felt my sorrow or my being dumb and quiet affected everybody in the house. So I said, I'll take a small place away from everybody and go and recover myself and my mind if I can. And so I bought a place at a place near Alibag. It's a small little village known as Girard. So I bought a piece of land there with a little small cottage, which is really a Mari's cottage. And I did nothing with it. I said, I don't want it touched. I don't want anybody here. I just want to get my mental balance if I can get it. And I stayed there. At that time, this very difficult proposition came, which I'd never had in my life. My health was always good, but this knee gave me a lot of trouble. And then I thought, instead of limping through roles like that, everybody was saying that we'll take care of you, we'll do this. But I thought it is unfair to technicians to say, I can't walk that distance, so you bring the camera near. Oh, I can't do that, you do that. I felt it was not fair. So I decided that I should be away from things. And I did a few pictures with Rishi, who was very understanding and who did everything comedy could do
Yeah.
about my limping, etc.
Yeah.
He made me dance, he made me do all sorts of things. So that, took away. I worked because I wanted my mind away from everything.
Yeah.
I wanted something
Yeah.
that would engross me,
Yeah.
and I knew work was the only thing that could do
Yeah.
it.
When,
So I went
when was Merchant Ivory's householder?
Householder was immediately after Harine's death.
Ach.
I mean, I had half finished,
Yeah.
and I had to finish the picture.
Yeah. How did you react to working in a small budget film? Because that was really the...
Yeah, I've always started with small budget film, but very organized.
Yeah.
That was Prabhat.
Yeah, yeah.
This is one setup which I feel always
Yeah.
is a model,
Yeah.
is a model or a lesson to
Yeah.
film people
Yeah.
generally.
Yeah.
I don't want to seminarize,
Yeah.
but they did the picture within time,
Yeah.
within the budgets.
Yeah.
The scripts were complete with the minutest detail, without any changes.
Yeah.
The songs were rehearsed, the dialogues were rehearsed. People were photographed in hundreds of different positions before their dresses were set.
Yeah.
So everything on the dot was ready.
Yeah.
You just had to come at 6 o'clock in the morning, slap that Laishnav makeup on your face, and go and do your work.
Yeah.
That was all that you had. And of course, your dialogues had to be
Yeah.
perfect. Shantanam also gave rehearsals in that because we were completely new, all of us, especially the Hindi
I
side.
think that really makes you very efficient in the usage of time. And from what one hears, I don't know how you react, that nowadays the big budget films waste a lot of their time, don't they? Would you say that?
I've always been a smaller budget artist, and I am no businesswoman. That I maintain, and it irks me when
Yeah.
anything goes wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
But I think it is their way of working and their money. So unless somebody asks me about it,
Yeah.
I have no right to put my nose into it.
Taking you back a little again to householder, because if I remember correctly, that was after Pather Panchali, isn't it?
Yes,
That
Pat-
was the first.
International
yeah.
combined production.
Yeah, yeah.
But Pather Panchali opened the doors of the international field
Yeah,
in films for India.
yeah,
Until that time, as I don't know whether I've said it before, the Indian film was not recognized. It was ignored.
Yeah.
People used to say, we don't see Indian films. The educated, the sophisticated, the elite always said this. We don't see Indian films. And I was earning my bread and butter on Indian films. It used to stab me very much.
yeah, yeah.
And today, every other person that I know wants to get into films. So that is where I feel, as I said at the beginning,
yeah.
the evolution has come.
Yes.
And I hope it will be to the credit of the country
Yeah.
and to people and to the film industry,
Yeah.
which I am very, very fond of.
Yeah, yeah, you are right when you say that, because there is an acceptance of film, especially from Pather Panchali and what we call the parallel cinema, acceptance of cinema as a part of Indian cultural heritage, and people have no taboos now, as you had said earlier. Like, for instance, I am now doing a film, and all I get is really recognition for it and a pat on the back for doing things. But before I think no, there's one more thing that I'd like to get your reactions on before we stop the resume so that we can go to particular questions. How do you react to the work of the younger people who have come out of the Film Institute? Have you worked with any of them?
I have worked with some of the technicians. At the time that they worked with me, there were no artists who were artists, and we really didn't need artists.
Yeah, yeah.
We needed models,
Yeah.
according to the advertising world into which I had stepped,
Yeah.
and into which I was now completely immersed.
Yeah.
So actually, but I do feel that the Film Institute gave a dignity and an educational value to films. Before that, technicians didn't know which side the camera was.
Yeah.
Either was it facing you or was it the other wrong side. They were not allowed to touch the camera.
Yeah.
The main cameraman used to hang to their work.
Yeah.
holding their chairs. So the youngsters were just on the outer edge,
Yeah.
looking at to what is happening. But Film Institute certainly brought them to the nearer to the technicians
Yeah.
and nearer to technical things,
Yeah.
like cameras. Granted that they broke a few instruments, they bashed in the cameras, etc., etc. But it has contributed definitely
Yeah.
to the knowledge of films, to the acceptance of films as being an educative factor.
We have talked for a while about Indian cinema because that is really your work field. But since I am talking to you and I come from theatre, I cannot forget your contribution to theatre. And therefore, I'd like you to dwell on Marathi theatre, which is a very, very important part of Indian culture. And I want to know how you got started, what interested you in theatre, who influenced you in theatre.
You see, Vijaya, ever since I was 5 years old,
Huh.
I have been seeing Bal Gandharva's plays. My father was a terrific Bal Gandharva fan. He was crazy.
Yeah.
He was a leading solicitor, everything, but his one recreation was dramas, and that is Narayan Rao's Natka. You cannot imagine how fascinated I was with that man. Absolutely. I remember him as he stood before that mirror. I was barely five, 6 or something like that. And I used to hold Daddy's hand and go with him everywhere he went. As soon as he went to the theatre, I went with him. Mother used to shout, "You'll ruin that girl." But he didn't worry. He took me always with him. And I never will forget that man's face as I saw it in that mirror as he was giving the final touches to himself with his sari and his necklaces and etc. before he stepped on the stage. And I kept on looking at him. And father said to him, he used to come to our house. He was like one of the family.
Yeah.
He used to come and go whenever he liked. He came and stayed with us sometimes at Lonavala where we had a house. And I asked him, I said, "Are you the person who comes to my house?" So he said, he was absolutely thunderstruck. So he said, "Do I come like this?" So I said, "No," but I didn't take my eyes off him. And I've never forgotten that impression.
Tell us more about the way he got ready.
Oh, he had a room to himself.
Yeah.
And he went into, as it were, a prayer room there. He had his makeup man, he had his saris completely, everything was ready. I had never seen a makeup room. I didn't know what a makeup room was. And nobody was allowed to go there at all. And meticulously he would get ready on time. And his entry would be just in time to catch the word that he had to catch. Which is fantastic. I mean, never was that man's entry late by 1 second. Never did he founder on his dialogues. Never did he stuck once in his song. Or never did anything overacted anything. It was really a sort of a complete, I should say, adoration that he had. And after, I don't know how many people know this, after the play was over and the curtain came down, Narayan Rao used to put his head on the stage after the people had left and stayed there for 5 minutes in complete trance. Complete trance. The man was not there, I'm sure. Even young I was, I could feel that.
He was almost a fashion setter, wasn't he, of those days?
Absolutely. He was the fashion setter. He was the person who put in aesthetic values into women of the coming on the stage as, I mean, he was a man, but he was so beautiful as a woman that it is impossible to forget his impression as far as I'm concerned. Although I'm 85 now, it doesn't worry me. I really gloat over his image. It is so wonderful.
Your childhood memories are from where? Goa? Because that's where you originate from.
My memories are not from Goa, but my family is from Goa. And I remember my family speaking Konkani all the time. And they used to fight in Konkani. Tu kit samajhta rahe? Tu kit samajhta rahe? They used to call each other tu and tuk. First. But and I know the language very well. I understand it. I talk it.
But when you started doing Marathi theatre, did you find it a problem because the Konkanis have a very heavy accent?
Oh God, Vijaya, I say, Nai, oi. And Govindra used to be aghast. तुम्ही सरळ बोला की अहो मराठी बोला बाई असं काय करता. And I told you one day when Shantaram first came to sign my contract, we were going to my father to take his permission. And in my excitement, I was talking so much in English, so much, and without stop. So Shantaram turned to Govindrao and said, does this woman know Marathi? Or are we on the wrong track? We have come to find a Marathi. It was like that. And then literally, for 3 months, I was forbidden to utter one word of English in the studio.
Yeah.
For 3 months. Or at home nobody controlled me. But in the studio, if I spoke a word of English, nobody answered me. It was the rule. Shantanu Bapu said that you are not going to speak one single word of English here. You talk Marathi, you speak it clearly and as you are directed.
Now, I must get you to talk about the plays that you did, because my memories are very vivid about seeing you in theatre. And the plays that you did were what?
Bhauban Ki, Khadashtak, Sanjay Kallol, Kaunteya, Vaijayanti.
Yes.
I did quite a few plays.
Yes.
Shobhisa Pankha.
How did you get to theatre from films?
Well, I got into a trap, to be very, very frank. You see, one day, the IPTA people, who I didn't realize belonged to a section of political ideas. I had just no idea. They came to me and said, you must come and join IPTA. So I said, look, I am not a theatre person and I have nothing to do with it. You must become our president. That was their plea. So I said, look, I am not a theatre person. Theatre is in my blood, in my brain. I quite agree.
Yeah.
But I have not done theatre work, and I will not come on the stage because I think I'll die of heart failure if I appear there. So they said, no, we promise you, we will not put you into a play. We want your name so that we get a recognition and a standing.
Yeah.
I said, look, this is very unfair since I'm not connected with theatre. I know nothing about it, that you make me a president of a thing that I don't even know anything about it. But they went on and on and on. So eventually I said, all right, I will do it. But I will not come on the stage. I decided to myself, I'll be for about 2-3 months, I'll become president, say that I just cannot cope with this. But really I was so busy with film shooting, I told them. But they would not agree to anything. And that happened. Then they sent me a notice for the first meeting. You must come and meet the people, etc., etc. In all good faith, I went there. When I went there, what do I find? That they put a written play on my table and announced that Durga Bai is going to play this role. I was furious, absolutely furious. I said, I got him. I said, I want to stop this. I am not here under any false pretenses. I made it very clear that I do not want to go on the stage, and I cannot go on stage. I know nothing about it. And I was made a president with this condition that only my name was required to give some sort of a standing. And I wanted to go out. So they said, no, wait till the meeting is over. And they all tried to cool me down. At the end of it, they all came and said they're very sorry. I said, you've done absolutely a wrong thing by announcing my name. Because I am not going on stage. I will never be able to do it. Then Date was there. Date came and said, we have made a mistake. Perhaps they have made it. Date had nothing to do with it. He was just directing the play. Maybe they have made a mistake. But now that it is announced, please help us out of this trouble. We are doing this play for Gandhi Fund. And at that time I had done Balidan, broadcasted it, which had become very popular. So when Gandhiji's name was taken, I really bowed my head. I said, look, you've been very unfair to do this, but I will do just one show. And no more. Don't take any more commitments. I will not fulfill them. I am publicly telling you this now. So we did this play, and believe it or not, it became a success.
Which was this play?
It was on the, underground movement.
Andolan?
Andolan.
Yeah. That's the...
Bichara, he's just dead now, ne?
Yeah.
Doctor, what is his name?
Bharati, was it?
He wrote the play.
Yeah.
And it was a success. Of course, started the pleas again. Oh God, I nearly went crazy. I said, look, I've told you. They had booked Sholapur, they had booked here, there, everywhere. And I said, I was going to Europe. I had my ticket. I said, my ticket is here. You want me to cancel everything for your show? Are you crazy? They would not listen to anything. So I'm really a weak person that way. I went to this place, Sholapur. We did the play. It was a very great success. And then I came back and I said, I'm now going to Europe and I'm not going to have anything to do with this. Please announce it in the papers. If you don't do it, I'll do it. Then I went to Europe and came back. And when I came back, what do I find? The Sahitya Mandali right at my door.
Yeah.
Dr. Bharati, wonderful man that he was, he created all this, was furious with me. He said, hundreds of times I've asked you to come and do my shows and you didn't come and now you go and work there? What do you think you are? You are a great friend of my family and your whole family is my family's friends. He was furious. He said, I will never forgive you. I'm going. I said, please, doctor, don't go. Don't get so angry. I'm sorry. This is what is. I don't care what happened. I know what happened and I know how you've done it. But you now have to get into Sahitya Sangh and do a play for Sahitya Sangh. I said, oh God, what am I putting myself? I said, look, I'll never be able to. I can't talk Marathi. I can't speak properly. I will never remember the dialogues. I'll get confused. You'll make an ass of me on the stage. He said, I don't mind. I'm prepared to risk anything, but you have to come. So I said, what do I have to do? He said, we are doing this. They used to have those plays on Marine Drive.
Yes.
Outdoor theatre, etc.
Yeah.
What a colossal thing it was.
Yes.
I said, in that, you want to sacrifice me?
There used to be about 3,000 to 4,000 people sitting there.
I said, you want to sacrifice me? What do you want to do with me? He said, no, we'll take care of you. I said, all right. I closed my eyes. I don't want to think about it now. And that day, rehearsed that play. But one thing I told him, I said, look, I am a person from the cinema.
No.
And I will not be able to do completely what you want to do in the dramatic theatrical way. I cannot.
Yeah.
So you must give me that allowance to keep my movements, my speech. Of course I will speak clearly, I'll try to, but you must allow me that. But that was very understanding and Dr. Bharati was really very happy that I'd agreed. So he says, all right, we forgive you everything, but you come. So we did that play. And that crowd on Marine Lines, I cannot tell you, my breath got choked. I was trembling from head to foot before I stepped onto the theatre. And there was Raghuba waiting to receive Anandibai. And Anandibai was trembling. Anyway, I just took my breath in and I stepped on the thing.
Yeah.
And I started.
This was Bhaubandki.
Bhaubandki.
Right, yes.
And I started. And this, I don't know how it went. It just went like wildfire.
Yeah.
God must have taken care of Mumbai Marathi Sahitya Sangh at that time. Certainly not me. I just couldn't remember. To date, I don't remember what I did. But everything that I did apparently appealed tremendously to the Maharashtra people.
Well, here sits a Maharashtrian
And
to whom it appealed totally.
Eventually, they forgave me for going into the films because Maharashtra was the one center that opposed me terribly. And they said, I disgraced the community, I disgraced the Maharashtrians, I disgraced my family, I disgraced everything when I went to films.
Yeah.
What earth on earth was the reason that you went into film?
Yeah.
So now they forgive me. I asked them, I said, you forgive me now? So this is what happened. And that is how I got into it.
Yeah.
And then once you got into it, you taste blood once, you can't get out of it.
Yeah.
And it went on, then they bought Khadashtak, then they bought... Then one day we did this play, Vaijayanti.
Yes.
We were doing it. And Date was directing it. And Date got very ill, he couldn't do it. And he brought the book back and said, I can't manage this, you better give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
So promptly, Dr. Bharati arrives with a book in his hand. You've got to do this. I said, Doctor, do what? He said, direct this play. I said, good God, I don't know anything about direction. What earth are you doing?
Yeah.
So eventually he pushed me into it and I got into that direction and the picture was successful again. I mean, the play was successful again. So what am I going to do? I don't know.
But I am grateful that you were pushed into it because the memories of Durga Khote, the stage actress, are very, very vivid for me and my generation.
Thank you, Vijaya. That's all that I can say.